All righty. I am so tickled. All right. Look at here. Back again. Here we are at Whiskey, Women, and Wisdom. Ladies, I am so tickled for who I have on here today. I have a motorcycle riding babe. Look at here. Candice LYNN is on here. Hey, Candice.
Hey, girl. How's it going?
It's going good. Oh, okay. So is this a top? Is that a necklace?
No,
I am
this
loving
is
that.
my Native American choker that I bought at a motorcycle rally. And it was made by a Native American tribe here in America. And I love it. I adore it. And I wear it as often as I can. So
I am so loving that.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. So ladies, she owns motorcycles and mortgages. She is our mortgage expert. But before we get into that, we got to talk a little bit about bikes. So, okay, give me the lowdown. Tell me what you riding, how long you've been riding. Give me the skinny.
Okay, so right now I am riding a 2019 Road King Special. This is, my very first bike was a 2020 V-Star 650. I treat my bikes like my shoes. I trade them. I've had 7 or 8 bikes now. But I had an Indian before this. I do love the Indian motorcycles. It was a little bit too much for me on turns, so I'm back at it on my Harley, getting those little twisties.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. And now, how long have you been riding?
22 years. 22 years.
Yeah. Right. So what you're telling me is you started when you were 8.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Hey, now, okay, so what's like the best thing you love about riding a motorcycle?
From the day my whole family rides, so I always had this passion for it. But when I finally got my own, it was a freedom. Like, I call it my heaven on earth. That's what it feels like. It feels like peace to me, and just like nothing. I could have the worst day of my life and jump on that bike, and then like a minute it's gone.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
I have, I can tell you a particular story. I got laid off in 2017, May of 2017, and I wasn't expecting this one. Usually, because I was in a leadership role, I would see layoffs coming, and I didn't see this one coming. And I took my son to my parents' house, and I hopped on the bike with just a driver's license and a credit card, and I was like, I'm going for a ride. And by the time I calmed down and stopped, I was in Texarkana. If you guys don't know, I live down near Houston, actually closer to Galveston. So I stopped in Texarkana, stayed the night, called my daddy and said, I'm going to the Ozarks for a few days. So with the clothes on my back and that one credit card and a driver's license, I spent 4 days in the Ozark Mountains to feel better about myself, and then came home.
You know what? Girl, don't play. I know that feeling well.
Yes, ma'am.
I've had several times in my life since I've been riding that I just get on it and go. In one particular part, I met up with some women that was going to Mexico, and I met them in Decatur, Texas. And I was just going to say hi because they were coming through, and they were like, St. James, you should go with me. It was me and Rocky. We had met up, and I was like, girl, I don't even have fresh underwear. Look here. Here's the conversation. Wash them, or go commando, or go to Walmart. Do you know I left with them and went all the way to New Mexico with them? So the freedom of business ownership to be able to do things like that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's talk about mortgages, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, how long have you been in the mortgage industry?
I started as a receptionist in 1997. And 1997, so 24 years or thereabouts. And now you know my age. I wasn't 8.
Close to it.
We'll just say I became so enthralled with what was going on behind the scenes. And I just stuck with it. And I literally moved through every piece of operations in the mortgage industry that I could, and just absorbing everything that was happening around me. So very quickly, I realized just from answering phones for a few I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was not a grown up when I fell into this role. In fact, an ex-boyfriend who was a manager at another mortgage company, he was like, go work here. I'm like, cool. And when I got in there, it was a few months, and I knew this was where I was going to be and what I was going to do.
Nice. Okay, so when did you become self-employed with mortgages?
I became self-employed in November of 2018. Very recently.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So,
in my career, I have been a receptionist, a processor. I spent a lot of years underwriting, and then I became a trainer, and then I became a leadership roles, management roles. I did. I actually worked for Stewart and a builder mortgage company manager, and underwriting was my passion. I do love underwriting. And I love teaching it. I love the theory behind underwriting, and I've done it all basically.
That's good.
And I stepped out because I felt like I owed it. Well, for one thing, I wanted to do it for me, but I felt like I owed it to the outside to kind of share my knowledge. I spent a lot of years cleaning up messes and stuff. And that's one thing I found out when I came to the outside world. I underestimated my name on the corporate side because realtors didn't know who was fixing their loan. They just knew somebody was doing it, Yep. And
as a realtor, trust me, I know that. I understand.
Yeah. So it was a big leap for me. And I'll tell you this, this last year was the first year I got to see every single one of my son's baseball games, because I stepped to this side. But stepping to this side, I'm not a salesperson. I don't have a salesperson's mentality. I strictly go off of my knowledge as an underwriter. So when people talk to me, they get an underwriter perspective rather than a sales side perspective. And that is what my passion is to sell that side.
So you like helping people?
I do. One of my biggest feelings about this industry, especially when I stepped into underwriting, is, man, I get to be a part of helping this family get a key to their house. Or, man, I get to help this person save $500 by refinancing their house. I actually underwrote through the big crash in 2008. And I was one of those underwriters. I never did anything that would detriment my company, myself, or my client. And the salespeople loved me, but they used to call me Boot Camp Candy because I was a very outside the box. Yeah, I was a very outside the box thinker when it came to underwriting. But if I knew it wouldn't work, it's not going to work. And I'm like, take it away, go somewhere else. I'm sorry, think of something else to do. But they said they got to the point where they would say, if Candy won't do it, nobody will do it. Take it to Candy. But that's because I was so passionate about helping these families get their dream and have their kids where they want their kids to go to school and stuff like that. So
that is perfect. I love hearing that. I love hearing when people are very invested in what they do. And any type of business ownership for me with women is a big deal because I'm all about that. Just totally.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me ask. So how did this come about where you have motorcycles and mortgages? How did that originate?
Okay, so my very first year out being self-employed, I didn't have a lot of business and I'd saved a lot of money in expectation for this. And I had always wanted to ride to Sturgis, so I'll be damned, I rode to Sturgis that year. And I was sitting in Sturgis, and there's a girl here from Houston that I adore. She just turned 30, but let me tell you about this girl. She started her own brand. And this girl has put 275,000 miles on 2 motorcycles by herself before she turned 30. And I'm 18 years her senior, and you can never expect it. You can learn something from anybody. Okay. Anybody. Absolutely. It doesn't matter if they're older or younger. And I met her in Sturgis because she's from Houston, but she moved to Colorado. And so she found out I was in Sturgis. I went and sat with her, and we were supposed to ride, and we ended up sitting at a bar for 3 hours and catching up. And I was really proud of her because of her brand and what she had started. And I said, do you think this motorcycles and mortgages, like it just dawned on me right there in Sturgis. And I was like, does that sound dumb? And she goes, hell no, girl. She goes, you get up and you run with that. She's like, you're combining your two favorite things on the planet. And so that's motorcycles and mortgages came home with me from Sturgis.
I love that. Okay, give her a shout out. What's her name?
Her name is Stacy Wilt, and her brand is Ride to Food. And I will absolutely, I will talk about her for a second. She's amazing. Again, she just turned 30. So Ride to Food, she started this brand, and she actually rides her motorcycle all over the country, and she goes to restaurants and she checks out their food. But she actually got invited to do a magazine, a tour magazine for Arkansas called Ride Arkansas. And you can actually go to Ride to Food and pick up her tour magazine where she rode all over Arkansas and did this map and trips for people. She's an amazing, amazing girl. So please go follow her. Ride to Food. Yep. On Instagram.
I love that. And I love giving people shout outs. And I the other day, I was telling someone, I was wearing someone's shirt. Who was I wearing? I don't remember.
Probably Carolinas. Were you wearing Carolina?
That's right. Shirt? That's right. I was wearing Carolina. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I had a senior moment right then. Okay, I need to drink some more. Okay, so I was wearing her. Thank you. What are you drinking, by the way?
Oh, tequila? I'm drinking a double añejo tequila.
Okay.
In this pretty little bottle. It's called Tequila Lay, and it's got this cool little seahorse on it. And it's a double añejo. And girl, I drank half a bottle of this and no hangover. It's so smooth. It's so good. So this is my cheers.
And I have my whiskey. Cheers. Absolutely. Yep. So it is good. I was wearing Carolina's shirt. And someone had sent me a DM. They're like, okay, you got a brand. Why are you wearing somebody else's stuff? And it's like, I support other women. It doesn't matter if we're doing the same thing. I don't care. Everyone has clothes. Everyone has something that they're doing. There's no competition. It's enough business out here for all of us. And just trying to get it where we don't see other women as our competition, and we see us as our only competition. And if we can just help each other, then it makes such a good sisterhood. And then that's a lovely thing because we already ride and we have such a huge sisterhood in that already. So I'm glad.
I'm gonna have to cheers you again. Support your ladies.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know, just to talk about mortgages again real quick, you know, one of the other things I tell my clients is shop around, talk to somebody else. I'm not always going to, you know, I don't mind, you know, and I don't win them all. And that's okay. And I have to be at peace with that, you know, but what makes me at peace is that I did my very best, you know.
Absolutely.
And in the mortgage world, you're allowed to share the estimated fee sheets. So when somebody says, hey, can I see the estimated fee sheet? Can they see your, because people will ask, I'm like, sure can, as long as I can see theirs, you know. I mean, it's, you can't win them all, and there's enough to go around, just like you said. So
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. So what's your favorite part about doing the mortgages?
Again, you know, it's just the passion. It's just, you know, and now that I'm on this side and I can go to my clients' closings and not wonder, oh man. And, you know, and I go to all my closings on my motorcycle, and, you know, you'll see it on my motorcycles and mortgages page. You'll see my clients with me standing next to my bike. Some of them sit on the bike, you know, many of my clients ride too, and they'll ride up there with me, and all the bikes will be there. But, it's just, again, it's just the feeling that you did something good for somebody, man. That's what hits my heart.
And, you know, it's the funniest thing, because when I'm showing properties, I'm showing properties on my bike. And it's a funny thing to see us rolling up to $1 million house, getting off of a Harley. They're kind of looking at us a little sideways. But, you know, we handle up on our business and keep it moving.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, I have a question. You rode coast to coast from Cali to Florida, right?
I did. So,
okay, so tell me about that.
I didn't, you know, that was a whim. My boyfriend and my best friend's husband, she let him go because I was going. She was like, as long as Candy's there, I know there'll be no foolery. So, but It just came on a whim. We went to the Fast Life Garage out of Dallas. I don't know if you know those guys. We went to their every April they have a camp out, and we went to that camp out, and we rode through Oklahoma. We went to the Tiger King's property. We have a photo of us with the Jeff guy, and we're riding around there, and everything is shut down right now, and we're riding around, and Oklahoma's kind of dead anyway, but. Adam just looked at me and he goes, "Want to go to California?" I was like, "Fuck yeah." And so we got on the bikes and rode to California. And it was I've been to California a couple of times on a plane business. And we got there and it was like the zombie apocalypse. The roads were dead. We made it. So Adam has a friend we stayed in, Huntington Beach, and I have a friend who's also a motorcycle rider, and she's from Kingwood, Texas, and she's in Santa Barbara. Girl, we made it from Huntington Beach to Santa Barbara in 2 hours with no lane splitting.
I will say this. I know Corona is a bad thing. I understand that. But the best thing that I can say about that is when it happened, there was nothing on the road. It was like the best thing for a motorcycle rider to be able to ride and not worry about somebody hitting you because they're looking at their cell phone.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. And so I didn't dub it the quarantine ride. We have a radio personality here, Outlaw Dave. He's a very good friend of mine, and he picked it up and he started sharing it on his motorcycle page, and he called it the Quarantine Ride 2020. And so, and I made sure to go to that page and answer everybody's questions and but it was amazing. So we did that in end of April, May-ish. And then we just rode to Florida for another camp out by Fast Life. They had a camp out down in Florida in November. So I actually rode there, and you'll be proud of this. I had a lady who's been riding for longer than me, actually, and a brand new rider, and she showed up. She met me in Beaumont on a 2020 bobber with no windshield, and she rocked it out. She rode all the way to Florida with us.
Oh my gosh, that is freaking awesome! Because that win beats your ass when you ain't got.
Oh yeah, I will. And then of course, we stopped in New Orleans to see a friend of mine, and we went to bed at 10 o'clock because I'm like, we're still leaving at 7 a.m. But girl, it is New Orleans, so we were all hungover. And she was hating it. She hated it, but she rallied and she got it done. But that was really cool. That was my first girls ride only, and my first time to lead outside of Texas. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Awesome. I am so proud of you. That is a big deal.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask this. So when you're doing credit, are you doing FHA? Are you doing VAs? Not credit. I apologize. When you're doing mortgages, credit was my next question though I was going to ask. So that's coming. So when you're doing mortgages, are you doing FHAs, VAs? Can you do no money down? What type of loans are you doing?
So there's no such thing as no money down anymore. That went with the crash. But I do have, so I do conventional, I do FHA, I do VA, I do cash out refinances. If you want to take a little equity out of your house and pay off some bills or do an add-on, and those are fixed rates, which I personally like better than the HELOCs or the home equity lines of credit that are more like credit cards. And I also have that. So when the 2008 crash hit, we have QM or non-QM mortgages. And so everything I'm naming is a QM mortgage. And non-QM means that it doesn't fit in that typical, criteria. And so our non-QMs, they've kind of started passing those out again for self-employed people who like to write off everything, which I'm self-employed, so I get it. And mortgage, by the way, self-employed people, mortgage calculate your income super weird. So the bottom line is what you actually made. So you might think you made this and you can afford this house, but at the end of the day, you can only afford this. So, and people get very frustrated with that. So now we have a couple of lenders that have come out with a non-QM, a bank statement program.
A bank statement program.
So you can do 12 months of bank statements, or you can do personal. You can't do combined. You can do personal or business. You take your pick. You're not going to get these 2% and 3% rates you're seeing right now because it is a riskier program. But if you don't want to, if you don't want to stop all your write-offs and pay more to the IRS, this is the way to go, and it's still not a bad thing. Yeah.
So what about USDA? Are those still available?
Oh, I'm doing one right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
I do have that 100% financing. So excuse me for that was a hiccup back there, but I do have that. But that is, it's a zip code related program. Okay. And they haven't moved the lines yet. And with all this development, especially in Texas, like the house I'm doing right now is in Willis, Texas, and Willis, Texas is just expanding. Like the Woodlands and Spring are just working their way in there. But right now, this particular house still fits in that zip code criteria. And there is there's also an income criteria for that too. So and that varies from county to county as well, but it is absolutely available.
Okay. So I was going to ask about credit, a couple of different things. What does someone's credit score need to be? And what can you kind of do if they just work with you credit wise?
Okay. So first, I will tell you, the name of my mortgage company is not Motorcycles and Mortgages. That's just me. I work for a company called ProLending Mortgage. I'm a partner and a loan officer with ProLending Mortgage LLC, and we are a brokerage or boutique shop, and therefore we can partner. We have like 15 or plus lenders that we partnered with, so we have all these different lenders that we can use. Now, some of these lenders do say that they will go under a 600 score. So you're looking at the 500.
I hear a butt coming though.
Yeah. So we've never had good luck with that. Okay. I have one particular partner that if you have at least a 600 score, I'm still getting like rates in the high 2s and low 3s on a 600. So why would I like put you through all that torment if I can help you and recommend some credit improvement tactics to get you to that 600 score,
Gotcha.
And but it does take, when you're working on your credit, it takes 60, 90, sometimes 120 days. So if you're in a hurry to buy a house, you might want to think about renting again another 6 months or so to get there. But if you have the time to kind of, work on this and do your thing, if I can get you to at least a 600, I'm happy. And that would be specific to FHA.
Okay, FHA. All right. And then you're doing refinances also.
I am. I just posted, and I'll tag you in it. I posted, for an example, my own refinance, because when I bought my house, I was at 4.875, and rates are stupid low right now. It's the lowest anybody's ever seen. And I lowered my own rate 2 points, and I'm saving like almost $500 a month. So
that's a big deal.
Yes, it is a big deal. And I'll tell you this from an underwriter perspective, because all your costs and everything, you want to work out how long is it going to take because even refinances are not cheap, but you do get to roll your closing costs into your refinance, so you're not really coming with money out of pocket.
Okay.
But if you're not lowering your rate at least 1 full point, I won't do the loan personally. Okay, I know other people may, but the cost to get your money back at the closing and all that stuff, if it's not 1 full point, I don't really see the advantage in it. What I usually tell people is go pay a couple extra mortgage payments a month, and do the same thing. If I'm only lowering your rate 0.5 point, I'm not doing you any good.
Absolutely. Our market right now is going stupid crazy. I mean, one of my girlfriends, she had a listing, got 61 offers on the listing. I believe it was listed at $325, sold for $375. And the market is just crazy. What can you tell them that can help? Because and someone else lost 6 houses. They're approved, but they're not getting their deals taken. Have you ever seen this type of market before? As a realtor, I have not. Did we lose you? Hold on, the connection will come back. I think her connection is a little slow at the moment. Candice, can you hear me?
There you are. I'm sorry. Okay.
There you go.
I heard you. I heard you. Okay. So the first thing I will tell people, and I'll speak from my own experiences because I looked at 30 houses 2.5 years ago before I found the house that was meant for me and everything, the stars aligned. If it's not yours, the right one's going to happen. But the market is crazy right now. So, and I am not a realtor, so it's really hard for me to get in there. But I'll tell you from an underwriting perspective, always have your pre-approvals done. Do not wait for your realtor to come, because most people aren't even going to look at you without a pre-approval. And absolutely. I can actually do pre-approvals from my phone. The guy who owns the company that I'm partnered with created this wonderful app called Pre-App 1003. Created. It's amazing. And I can get it from my phone. It texts me and tells me when somebody does an app. But and then I do a pre-approval from my phone. If you need us to change the numbers, like if you need a different sales price, let us know. Get us in there. Now, I will tell you from what I have seen since I've been on this side of the biz, and again, I'm not a realtor, but I have literally had 5 clients since I've been in self-employed, letters to the sellers, personal letters. Mm-hmm. One in particular, I remember, they walked the house and the seller had a golden retriever and they had a golden retriever as well. And they wrote this passionate letter about how they could see their children and their golden retriever in this house, and boom, the seller bid that. And that they weren't even the highest bid from what I understand. So yes. If you're really passionate about the house, try writing a letter.
Yes. And let me tell you what, that is one of the things that realtors will tell them to do. But it's nice to see that behind the scenes, making sure that they have all their ducks in a row before they go out to see the homes is really, really important. Yeah. And the one thing that, I cringe sometimes when I call myself a loan officer because that's what I am now, but I have all the underwriting. So my underwriter head will never go away. And so one thing that I'm always doing is I am looking at I pre-underwrite the whole darn loan before I even send them out. I'm like, I need all of this right now. Because pre-approvals are done out of speculation, basically. A lot of times pre-approvals are not done with the documentation. And then when we get the documentation, we can't use your overtime because you haven't received overtime for 2 years. And so, boom, you don't qualify for this house anymore. So I want to see it on paper before I'm like, here's your pre-approval for $400,000,
And
what's a step above a pre-approval?
A step above a pre-approval, you're signing your disclosures and you're off to underwriting. So your next step was to be underwriting. Yeah.
And how long is it taking these days from paperwork to close?
So because let's just say 60 days. I don't tell anybody, like when I get a contract, I do ask the realtors, but I can't enforce it, obviously. And when I do get a contract for 30 days or 45 days, I do make sure that it's a whole file. Again, this is something that a lot of other people can't do because they don't have the underwriting experience I do. Sure. But right now it's 60 days and a lot of time we are meeting the 30 and 45 days. If you're refinancing, I'll be honest with you, you're taking a back seat in underwriting right now. They are pushing the purchases through first. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but I can lock your rate for 60 days. So if I see 2.75, I can actually lock it for 60 days and at no cost many times. And so I can be sure and hit that 60-day mark and get you refinanced before that.
Okay. So I have a big question. You're licensed for the state of Texas.
Oh, yes. Only the state of Texas right now.
Okay.
Right now.
So no, that's fine. So if they don't live in Houston, can you still help them? That's one of the questions that you get all the time. Can you, if they're in Dallas and they know you,
the better. The longer I can ride my motorcycle to get to you, it is better. I am licensed for the entire state of Texas. And, I do have a wonderful, very secure upload system on our pre-app system, but I actually rode to Brenham, Texas the other day to pick up documents because I wanted to ride.
I love that. Yes. I absolutely love that. Yeah. Okay, so ladies, look. it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the state of Texas and you are looking to buy a home, make sure you call her. Her phone number is down there. Plug it in, share this video, because there are other people that are looking in order to buy a home this year or to refinance. And what I'd like to do is have you on another time where perhaps you can tell us the difference between FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, because they don't know the differences. And it can be getting a home can be a very scary process when you're talking about the avenue of the paperwork. So can you possibly come on another time and talk about that type of thing?
I'd love to. That would be great. Like I said, it's my duty to get the information out. And by the way, even if you're in another state, I'm still allowed to talk to you from an underwriter perspective. And if you don't understand what's going on with your loan, give me a call. I will help you out.
I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. So if there are any questions or anything of that nature, ladies, make sure that you either leave a comment or get in contact with her. She is in Houston, Texas. We want to support our other motorcycle riding sisters. We want to support our sisters in general, even if they don't ride motorcycles. So
Amen.
Ladies, hey now, thank you so very much for coming on with your tequila and my whiskey. Thank you.
I'll see you on the road.
Yes, indeedy. Ladies, be bad, be bold, find somebody's face to sit on, because sex is important too. Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Bye, girl.